So I had experience in motorsport working with Wasson Racing. Then I had experience in the car shop industry. First, with that car shop I used to work at. And then I used to have my own car shop together with a few partners in Chino Roses. At that time, we were only servicing high-end European luxury cars. Mostly sports cars, Porsche, BMW, that kind of thing. And we had a customer, and this guy, his name was Ricky Galang. Sadly, he's no longer with us after the pandemic. And he really wanted to build a race car out of a European car. That was just his dream. He was just our customer. He just came to us. Okay, let's develop a car. Maybe it's a BM, maybe it's a Porsche, or it's a Lotus, or whatever it is, right? And let's build it into a racing car. And we did the costing. And we started with the Excel sheet, or nowadays the Google sheet, right? Yeah. And that's how you really start anything. So we checked. And it was coming out to about 4.5 million pesos no matter what we did. Wala pa yung R&D.
Right.
There's no R&D yet. So that's just us guessing these are the best parts to put in. And if it doesn't work, we're going to buy other parts and we're going to R&D it. It's about 4.5 million.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
At the time, this is about 2018, right? And we just kept going back and forth. We could not find a solution. And suddenly we realized that the best solution was actually to buy a race car from abroad that someone else had already made because it fits in our budget of 4.5 million, right? Little did I know that was the start of actually making a business. So I'll never forget that. It was November of 2018 and we were just having lunch in a cafe and we looked at an old Top Gear episode, which is Top Gear UK, like that famous car show. I'm sure some of the boss audience are familiar with that, right? And we saw this thing on Radical on the Top Gear show. And this is the brand that we import. And what really happened is we just sent them an email and we said, hey, you guys have no representation in the Philippines. We'd like to apply to be your dealership.
Oh, so it was like on random.
Oh, it's a cold email.
Oh, right.
A cold email, right? So he sent an email, cold. Somebody replies within a week and says, we'll send somebody there in February to check you guys out.
Oh.
Okay, great. So Feb of 2019, guy from the UK actually shows up at NAIA. We pick him up and we show him around. We take him to the racetrack in Clark. We take him to the racetrack in Batangas. And we brought him to the soon-to-be racetrack that was supposed to happen in Pradera Verde. That never ended up happening. That's kind of racing. There's a lot of plans. There's a lot of high ambitions. And ultimately, people get disappointed. But we didn't want this to be one of that. So he came here in February. I went to the UK in April of that year, 2019. And we were there with the explicit purpose of buying our first 2 demo cars. And we already had 2 orders from customers for the next 2 cars. So we were getting 4 cars in total on one trip.
On the first trip.
This was
the first ever trip.
Yeah, the first ever trip to the UK. We were there to sign the dealership paperwork and then come out with a strong hand and say, oh, we're buying 2 demo cars to start our business. And we've already got 2 customers. Here's the payment for 2 customers.
Oh, that's
so 4 right away. 4 cars right away. At the time, it was probably maybe 55,000 pounds for a car. 55,000 British pounds. And so they were pretty happy with us in 2019. That was a really great start to our radical business. Coincidentally, it's also where the Doon.ph idea came from. That same trip.
On the same trip?
It was the same trip because when I landed at Heathrow Airport, it was Good Friday. And all the Hertz and the Sixt and the Europe car desks were closed.
Yeah, because it's a holiday.
Yeah, because it was Good Friday. Yeah. I think to them, they call it another, I don't know if it's Boxing Day or some other, whatever it is, British holiday. Okay, so we get there, it's all closed. And I'm like, where do I get a car?
No public transportation available.
I mean, there is, but I'm going out of London. My first thing when I get Heathrow is I got to go to Chester, which is another city. So I just got on a flight halfway around the world and I got to drive a car to a different city that's about 2 hours away near Manchester. So I went online and Googled it. And I guess Turo's SEO is like spot on because it was like #1 hit on Google, check it, sign up, 15 minutes, get a car.
How was the process like when you got that car?
Oh, it's pretty easy. It was literally like a sign up, KYC, upload your license, all that kind of stuff. And then some guy was on his way to meet me at the Heathrow airport in 20 minutes, 15 minutes, something like this. Very fast. So within 20 minutes, I'm just sitting outside Heathrow. It's cold. I'm having a cigarette. And the guy shows up in the Tesla. All right, here's your Tesla.
Perfect.
You get 3 weeks with a Tesla.
Okay, that's so great.
I see. I want to go back to Radical Muna, Enrique.
Yeah, sure.
Talking about your humble beginnings and all the legwork, right? So, what was the system like when you were starting Radical Cars? Like, everything that you're doing, like from the planning stage as to how you're going to, moving forward, looking at putting up systems on your ordering as well as the infrastructure. How did you do that?
When we started it, it was the most basic thing ever. There was no system really. It was like a Google sheet. Okay, we sold 2 cars. We've got 2 demo cars incoming. And then we started our operation October of 2019. In half a year, we had the world's longest lockdown. Like literally here in the Philippines, right?
Yeah.
So that was crazy. We basically went off to a very, very strong start with 2 demo cars and 2 customer cars. And then bang, COVID
All down.
pandemic, all gone. We're basically on pause for motorsport for, I believe it was 2 years. We couldn't go racing until I think the racetrack opened late 2022. And that's when we were able to restart Radical again.
Oh, that's 2 years na talagang wala.
Yeah, because that was March of 2020. And then I remember,
Saktong March?
yeah, that was
Yeah.
That
March.
was the start of the
Yeah.
That was the start of the
Yeah.
lockdown,
start of
right?
the
So we had
lockdown.
March until about 2022 till they opened the racetrack again.
Oh, that's quite long.
Yeah, that was quite long. In between then, this was just open for little private testing, so nobody really wanted to buy a car. I liken selling race cars kind of to like selling football shoes. There's nobody buying football shoes if there's no football tournament.
Mhm.
Consequently, nobody buys race cars if there's no championship to fight for. Right? You got to be competing, and that's really the main sell of that. This is a competition sport, and it's really about who's faster. It's a little bit about ego. It's a little bit about who can really get that car to its optimal performance, right? At
Yeah,
any
I
given time. So
understand. So,
that's where Dawn comes in. Actually, it's because it's all connected, right?
right.
There was no system with Radical because we had about 6 months of ops to really set it
Mhm.
up
I see.
until we got forcibly shut down.
Mhm.
The only thing, thankfully, that we were able to set up in those 6 months was the first ever motorsport insurance in the Philippines.
Okay, so
Okay.
after Radical was the insurance,
Yeah,
right?
so we brought these cars in, and
Okay.
while we were bringing these cars in, so from April to October,
Mhm.
we're just figuring out how to import a race car to the Philippines. Like, what is the Bureau of Customs taxation classification?
That's true, that's true.
all of these things, right? How do we?
All of the paperwork.
Yeah, how do we also break it down? Does this car come in a whole, or do you knock it down and into parts and ship it in a container?
Mhm.
So we have to figure all that stuff out, right? During that time, we started talking to Pioneer Insurance, and we were thinking about the idea of somebody, just a random guy that we don't know, testing our 4.5 million peso race car without insurance and putting it into the wall.
Mhm.
So we spoke to Pioneer and we showed them the car. And for the first, because there's no racing insurance in the Philippines, this is an insure on your self-insure kind of sport. That's
Right.
that's what they call it, right? And the guy from Pioneer basically just said, because your car, every part has a barcode and an SKU, we can insure it.
Okay.
That was
so
really the
that's where-
factor. That's
okay.
where it all came from. Each part of our car has a barcode that you can scan and
That's true.
digitize into the computer, and it's got a standard price,
Mhm.
right? We know how much it costs, and it's very, very organized. So they offered us motorsport insurance. It's some crazy number, but people still manage to pay it. It's 15,000 peso a day for insurance in the track, which is kind of almost the price of your road cars insurance for a
Exactly.
year.
Yeah.
But it's racing, and racing's not cheap.
That's
So people pay for it. It's cool. It works out. But that was the starting seed of Dawn. It was basically just that insurance connection for motorsport insurance and the Turo experience in the UK. those two together were how I kind of made the connection to start doon during the pandemic.
Oh boss, deserve mo malaman ng buong kwento niyan.
Huwag kang mag-alala. The full episode is now up on YouTube and Spotify.
Follow us on our social media pages for more updates. This is Benta Bosses by Quotable AI.